On this day, we come together to celebrate the lives, legacies, and cherished memories of remarkable personalities we've recently lost. We take a moment to reflect on their incredible journeys and the inspiration they continue to give us. We'll also talk about WWE stars who are facing struggles that have drawn love, support, and prayers from millions of fans. Subscribe now and be part of our family that keeps their stories alive. Chyna, born Joan Marie Laurer on December 27, 1969, was much more than a professional wrestler. She was a trailblazer who shattered barriers in an industry long dominated by men. Standing at an impressive 5 feet 10 inches with a powerful athletic build, she earned the nickname the Ninth Wonder of the World for her remarkable strength, presence, and groundbreaking achievements in World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE. Her journey wasn't just about titles and matches. It was about challenging expectations and showing the world that women could compete at the highest levels alongside men. Chyna's rise in wrestling began in the late 1990s, during WWE's famed Attitude Era, a time of bold storylines and unforgettable characters. She quickly became a fan favorite, not only for her unique combination of athleticism and charisma, but also for the way she carried herself with confidence and fearlessness. She made history by becoming the first woman to win the Intercontinental Championship, a title that had been exclusively held by men, and she also captured the Women's Championship. Along the way, she engaged in memorable rivalries with wrestling icons such as Triple H, Kurt Angle, and Chris Jericho, proving that she could stand toe-to-toe with the best in the business. Outside the ring, Chyna explored acting and reality television, showing a different side of herself on shows like The Surreal Life and Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew. Her life off-screen, however, was marked by personal struggles, including battles with addiction, which often overshadowed her accomplishments and brought challenges in her later years. Despite these hardships, Chyna's courage and determination never wavered, and her influence in wrestling remains undeniable. Chyna passed away at the age of 46, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire. She broke stereotypes, redefined what women could achieve in professional wrestling, and opened doors for countless female athletes who followed in her footsteps. To fans and fellow wrestlers alike, Chyna wasn't just a competitor. She was a pioneer, a force of nature, and a symbol of strength, resilience, and the unrelenting pursuit of one's dreams. Her story reminds us that true impact isn't measured just by victories, but by the barriers one dares to break. Rocky Johnson, born on August 24, 1944, in Amherst, Nova Scotia, Canada, carved out a remarkable path in the world of professional wrestling. Long before his son, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, became a global superstar, Rocky had already made history in the ring, breaking barriers and inspiring countless athletes who followed. He began his wrestling career in the 1960s, competing across Canada and the United States. At a time when the industry was largely dominated by white wrestlers, Rocky's natural charisma, athletic build, and undeniable talent helped him stand out. Fans were drawn to his agility, powerful strikes, and commanding presence, making him one of the most exciting performers of his generation. By the late 1970s, Rocky Johnson had earned national recognition in the World Wrestling Federation, WWF. Teaming up with Tony Atlas, he formed one of wrestling's first successful African-American tag teams. Together, they made history by winning the WWF World Tag Team Championship. This victory wasn't just another title win. It was a cultural milestone that proved diversity had a place in professional wrestling. Their success opened doors for future stars, showing that talent, charisma, and heart mattered more than barriers. Outside of his championship moments, Rocky also played the role of mentor. He trained and inspired many wrestlers throughout his career, but perhaps his greatest influence was on his son, Dwayne, who would later credit Rocky's determination and guidance as key to his own success. Even after retiring in the 1990s, Rocky remained close to the business as a trainer and promoter, sharing his knowledge with the next generation. In 2008, his contributions were officially recognized when he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, a fitting honor for a man who had given so much to the sport. When Rocky Johnson passed away in 2020 at the age of 75, he left behind more than just memories of thrilling matches. He left a legacy of resilience, trailblazing achievement, and inspiration for wrestlers and fans alike. Rocky Johnson will always be remembered not only as a champion in the ring, but also as a pioneer who helped shape the future of professional wrestling. Mr. Niebla, born as Miguel Angel Guzman Huerta, remains one of the most celebrated figures in the world of Mexican professional wrestling, or Lucha Libre. Revered for his charisma, agility, and daring in-ring style, he captivated audiences for decades, leaving a lasting imprint on the sport. Fans remember not just his skill, but his ability to tell a story through every match, mixing athleticism with dramatic flair that defined the heart of Lucha Libre. One of the most memorable moments in his career came on August 1st, 2004, at Arena Naucalpan. Mr. Niebla squared off against Pero Aguayo Jr., a clash that would etch itself into wrestling history. The bout was intense and unrelenting, filled with high-impact moves, hardcore wrestling spots, and a palpable sense of rivalry. In the end, Mr. Niebla emerged victorious, his triumph a testament to both his technical skill and his fierce determination. That night, fans witnessed not just a match, but a display of passion and resilience that would define his career. Yet, as with many wrestlers who pour their bodies into the sport, Mr. Niebla faced moments of real-life peril. In September 2019, during a tag team match for CMLL in Mexico City, he suffered a heart attack in the middle of the ring. The incident shook fans and wrestlers alike, as the severity of the situation became immediately apparent. Thanks to the rapid response of medical personnel and the quick thinking of his fellow wrestlers, Mr. Niebla was stabilized and rushed to receive emergency care. After undergoing surgery and enduring a challenging period of recovery, he demonstrated remarkable courage and resilience by returning to the ring in 2020, much to the delight of his fans. Throughout his illustrious career, Mr. Niebla collected numerous accolades, including the CMLL World Light Heavyweight Championship and the CMLL World Tag Team Championship. His journey underscores both the thrilling highs and the grueling physical demands of professional wrestling, reminding fans of the fine-line performers walk between spectacle and personal well-being. While Mr. Niebla's story is one of triumph and perseverance, the world of wrestling also bears witness to the stark realities that can accompany a life spent in the ring. Peggy Lee Leather, born on January 19, 1959, was a trailblazing figure in American professional wrestling, remembered for her fierce competitiveness and enduring impact on the sport. Over the course of her career, she performed under several ring names, including Lady X and Thug, leaving a lasting impression wherever she competed. Leather's journey in wrestling began in the WWF in the early 1980s. From 1980 to 1985, she became known for her dynamic and charismatic performances, often teaming with Wendy Richter. Together, they were a formidable duo, frequently challenging the WWF Women's Tag Team Champions Velvet McIntyre and Princess Victoria. While Leather eventually split from Richter in 1985 to pursue singles competition, Her pursuit of the WWF Women's Championship fell just short, but it only cemented her reputation as a determined and talented competitor. After leaving the WWF, Leather joined the American Wrestling Association, AWA, where her career continued to flourish. She engaged in memorable feuds, particularly with Medusa Michaeli, and showcased her bold style in events like the Lingerie Battle Royal at Super Clash 3 in December 1988. These matches highlighted her versatility and willingness to take risks in the ring. In the 1990s, Leather transitioned to David McLean's Powerful Women of Wrestling, POWW, reigniting her rivalry with Richter and proving that her skill and charisma remained as strong as ever. She later joined the Ladies Professional Wrestling Association, LPWA, where she achieved one of her greatest career milestones by winning the LPWA Championship. This achievement solidified her status as one of the top female wrestlers of her era. Leather also made a brief return to WCW in 1997, competing for the WCW Women's Championship against Medusa, and in the early 2000s, she embraced a new persona as Thug in the Women of Wrestling promotion. Even in the later stages of her career, she continued to captivate audiences with her energy and passion for wrestling. Peggy Lee Leather retired in 2013, leaving behind a legacy of determination, skill, and pioneering spirit. She passed away at the age of 64, but fans and fellow wrestlers remember her not just for her accomplishments in the ring, but for the lasting mark she left on women's professional wrestling. A true icon whose influence resonates to this day. Jocephus, born Joseph Curtis Hennig on March 19, 1980, in Kansas City, Missouri, was an American professional wrestler who carved out a unique place in the wrestling world through his compelling storytelling and unforgettable persona. From his early days, it was clear that Jocephus possessed not only athletic talent, but also a flair for performance, a combination that would define his career in the squared circle. Before stepping into the world of professional wrestling, Jocephus honed his craft as an amateur wrestler. He trained under several respected figures in the wrestling community, dedicating countless hours to perfecting his technique and understanding the nuances of the sport. This early discipline became the backbone of his career, allowing him to move seamlessly between technical wrestling and theatrical performance. His deep appreciation for wrestling as both a sport and an art form set him apart from many of his peers. Jocephus's most iconic work came during his time with the National Wrestling Alliance, NWA, where he captured the attention of fans through a mix of athleticism and dramatic flair. One of his standout creations was the enigmatic persona known as the Question Mark. Donning a mask and communicating mostly through gestures and body language, Jocephus brought a mysterious energy to his matches that kept audiences guessing. The character paid homage to classic wrestling tropes while adding a modern, psychological twist, showcasing his ability to blend tradition with innovation. Beyond the NWA, Jocephus competed in numerous independent promotions, including championship wrestling from Hollywood and other regional circuits. In these arenas, he cultivated a devoted fan base, earning respect not only for his skill in the ring, but also for the authenticity and passion he brought to every performance. Tragically, Jocephus passed away at the age of 42, leaving a void in the wrestling community. Yet, his influence endures. Fans remember him for the characters he embodied, the stories he told, and the undeniable charisma he exuded. Jocephus's career reminds us that wrestling is more than just physicality. It's about connecting with people, sparking imagination, and leaving a lasting mark. His legacy continues to resonate, a testament to a performer who gave his all every time the lights went down and the bell rang. William Scott Goldberg, universally recognized as Bill Goldberg, was born on December 27, 1966, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and grew up in a middle-class household where discipline, determination, and perseverance were instilled early on. From a young age, Goldberg demonstrated a remarkable athleticism that would shape his future, excelling in various sports throughout high school. However, it was football that captured his initial focus, providing a path toward both collegiate and professional opportunities. Goldberg attended the University of Georgia, where he showcased his skill as a defensive tackle, earning accolades for his size, strength, and explosive speed. His college years were not only formative in terms of athletic development, but also provided him with a sense of discipline and resilience that would carry him into other competitive arenas. Following his college career, Goldberg entered the National Football League, NFL, where he played as a defensive tackle for the Los Angeles Rams and later the Atlanta Falcons. Though his football career was relatively brief, hindered by injuries and the demanding nature of professional sports, it laid a foundation for the physical conditioning, mental toughness, and public exposure that would later propel him into professional wrestling. Despite the setbacks and a career that never fully reached the heights of football stardom, Goldberg's time in the NFL reinforced the importance of preparation and determination, traits that would define his persona in the wrestling world. The rise of a wrestling legend. Goldberg's transition from football to professional wrestling was a pivotal moment in his life, marking the beginning of a career that would etch his name into the annals of sports entertainment. Goldberg debuted in World Championship Wrestling, WCW, in 1997, quickly rising to prominence with an aura of raw power and intensity rarely seen in the industry. Fans were immediately captivated by his presence, a towering figure whose single-minded focus and unrelenting energy made him a force of nature inside the squared circle. Goldberg's matches became must-see events, fueled by his signature moves, including the devastating spear and jackhammer, which he executed with precision and ferocity. His rise was meteoric, punctuated by an undefeated streak in WCW that eventually reached a staggering 173-0, a record that continues to be a benchmark for dominance in wrestling history. This streak, while sometimes debated by purists, became a symbol of Goldberg's unstoppable force and solidified his reputation as one of the most dominant athletes of his generation. Behind the scenes, however, Goldberg faced the challenges common to professional wrestlers: grueling schedules, physical strain, and the pressure to maintain peak conditioning. His commitment to his craft was absolute, with a regimen that included intense workouts, strict dietary discipline, and a near-obsessive focus on performance. It was this relentless drive that made Goldberg not only a crowd favorite, but also a respected peer among his contemporaries. Transition to WWE and sporadic returns. After WCW was acquired by WWE, then WWF, in 2001, Goldberg's career entered a new chapter. He made his WWE debut in 2003, instantly recognizable to fans who had followed his WCW exploits and equally capable of winning over new audiences. His time in WWE was characterized by sporadic yet memorable appearances, each demonstrating that despite years away from regular competition, his intensity and physical prowess had not diminished. Goldberg's 2016 return was particularly notable, culminating in a high-profile feud with Brock Lesnar that reignited interest in his career and introduced him to a new generation of fans. During this period, Goldberg also captured the WWE Universal Championship, adding to his legacy as one of the few wrestlers capable of dominating across multiple promotions. These returns were not without challenges, however, as Goldberg had to contend with the cumulative effects of years of physical punishment. By this stage, The rigors of wrestling and previous football injuries had taken a toll on his body, with fans and commentators noting that Goldberg's stamina and mobility, while impressive, were increasingly managed with careful preparation and medical oversight. Despite these obstacles, he maintained a near-legendary aura in the ring, with his entrances, signature chants, and commanding presence, leaving an indelible mark on audiences worldwide. Health challenges and physical toll. Despite the grandeur of his career, Goldberg's journey has not been without personal and professional challenges, particularly regarding health. The transition from professional football to wrestling required immense physical adaptation, yet the cumulative impact of both careers became increasingly apparent over time. Goldberg has endured repeated injuries, including knee and shoulder issues, concussions, and the typical wear and tear associated with decades of high-impact sport. While he has maintained an enviable level of fitness, these physical demands inevitably affected his training, in-ring performance, and long-term health outlook. Observers and fans alike have noted that Goldberg's rigorous approach to fitness and rehabilitation is a reflection of his dedication, but also a testament to the fragility that even the most imposing athletes face. Beyond physical injury, Goldberg has openly discussed the mental strain of balancing the demands of fame, performance expectations, and personal life, acknowledging that professional wrestling requires as much mental resilience as physical stamina. In recent years, Goldberg has emphasized recovery and medical guidance as central to his continued appearances, highlighting a pragmatic approach to managing health in the twilight of an illustrious career. Financial considerations and career sustainability. While Goldberg's name is synonymous with wrestling success, the business side of professional wrestling has always been a complex landscape. Contracts, royalties, and appearances are subject to negotiations, and Goldberg's sporadic appearances in WWE in the latter part of his career have brought both opportunities and uncertainties. Though Goldberg's career earnings are substantial, managing finances over decades of high-intensity work and intermittent income streams presents its own challenges. Reports suggest that Goldberg, like many wrestlers of his era, has had to navigate contract disputes, changing management priorities, and the unpredictability of wrestling's commercial viability. This financial dimension adds a layer of pragmatism to his planned retirement, as securing a legacy and financial stability becomes intertwined with personal health and professional reputation. Despite these pressures, Goldberg has been strategic in maintaining his financial well-being, leveraging appearances, merchandise, and occasional Hollywood roles to ensure that his retirement is both dignified and sustainable. The road to retirement and WWE's role. After decades of dominance and spectacle, Goldberg has confirmed that 2025 will mark the conclusion of his in-ring career. This announcement has sparked considerable excitement and speculation, with fans and pundits debating not only the identity of his final opponent, but also the manner in which he will conclude his storied journey. Goldberg has publicly expressed interest in facing Gunther, the current WWE World Heavyweight Champion, citing the matchup as a symbolic passing of the torch between generations. Gunther's reign, characterized by technical precision, hard-hitting style, and a measured yet commanding presence, presents an ideal foil for Goldberg's raw power and intensity. A match between the two would be more than a contest. It would be a narrative encapsulating the evolution of wrestling, from Goldberg's era of explosive dominance to the modern era of strategic athleticism. While WWE's plans are not officially confirmed, the anticipation surrounding this retirement bout underscores Goldberg's enduring impact and the company's recognition of his contribution to wrestling history. The emotional dimension of farewell. For Goldberg, Retirement is not solely a professional milestone. It is a deeply personal decision, shaped by decades of physical sacrifice, public expectation, and personal reflection. The prospect of leaving the ring involves a mix of pride, nostalgia, and a realistic acknowledgement of physical limitations. Fans are eager to witness a fitting farewell that honors both Goldberg's achievements and his contributions to the broader wrestling narrative. In recent interviews, Goldberg has emphasized that his focus remains on leaving the ring in a manner consistent with his values, preparing meticulously, maintaining his physical condition, and ensuring that his final match is both memorable and respectful of the sport. There is also a sense of closure, a desire to end on his terms after years of navigating the highs and lows of fame, competitive pressure, and public scrutiny. This human element, the intersection of ambition, legacy, and mortality, resonates strongly with audiences, who see in Goldberg not only a performer, but a figure who has lived the extremes of professional athleticism and entertainment. Rumors, speculation, and wrestling politics. As with any major retirement announcement in wrestling, Goldberg's final chapter has been accompanied by speculation regarding WWE's intentions, match outcomes, and potential behind-the-scenes tension. Rumors have circulated about the possibility of Goldberg leaving the company on a triumphant high or enduring a symbolic defeat that cements his career narrative. While these stories are often exaggerated in wrestling media, they reflect the broader anxieties and expectations surrounding one of the sport's most visible icons. Additionally, Goldberg's candid remarks about the evolution of WWE, including his observations on the rise of Roman Reigns and Gunther, suggest a nuanced understanding of wrestling politics and the challenges of balancing legacy with contemporary entertainment priorities. Despite potential friction with management or creative directions, Goldberg's professionalism has ensured that his contributions remain respected and any disputes are largely internal rather than public confrontations. This careful navigation of relationships within WWE highlights his awareness of reputation, legacy, and the importance of concluding his career on a dignified and controlled note. Legacy and enduring influence. Goldberg's impact on professional wrestling is profound and multifaceted. His record-breaking streak in WCW, multiple championship victories in WWE, and larger-than-life persona have left an indelible mark on fans and colleagues alike. Beyond championships and accolades, Goldberg's legacy is defined by the emotional connection he fostered with audiences, the excitement generated by his entrances, the dramatic tension of his matches, and the authenticity he brought to his craft. Younger wrestlers often cite Goldberg as an inspiration, noting his work ethic, dedication, and the sheer spectacle he brought to the sport. Yet, Goldberg's legacy is also a story of resilience, how an athlete transitions from football to wrestling, overcomes injuries, navigates financial and professional complexities, and ultimately shapes his career around values of integrity and preparation. In this sense, Goldberg represents both the triumphs and the sacrifices inherent in professional sports, serving as a model of how dedication, skill, and strategic choices can forge a lasting impression in the public consciousness. Health, fitness, and retirement preparation. As Goldberg approaches his retirement, attention has focused on his ongoing health and fitness regimen, which remains rigorous despite decades in high-impact sports. Recognizing the long-term effects of repeated injuries, Goldberg has adopted an approach that prioritizes recovery, medical guidance, and controlled training intensity. Reports indicate that he has invested significantly in personal trainers, physical therapy, and nutrition to ensure he enters his final match at peak performance. This preparation is not merely about spectacle, but reflects a realistic understanding of the demands of wrestling and the importance of safeguarding long-term health. Goldberg has been transparent about these challenges, acknowledging that retirement is as much a proactive choice for health preservation as it is a professional milestone. The anticipation of the final match. The anticipation surrounding Goldberg's final match is unprecedented. Fans, analysts, and fellow wrestlers are speculating on potential opponents, outcomes, and the broader narrative that will define his farewell. The possibility of facing Gunther has captured the imagination of audiences, representing a convergence of eras and styles that is rarely seen in professional wrestling. This match is expected to balance storytelling, athletic performance, and emotional resonance, providing a fitting conclusion to a career that has spanned decades and continents. Beyond the spectacle, the final match serves as a moment of reflection for Goldberg, for his peers, and for fans, to acknowledge the impact of his presence in the sport and the legacy he leaves behind. Conclusion: a career remembered. Bill Goldberg's journey from a promising football athlete to a wrestling legend is a story of resilience, discipline, and enduring relevance. His legacy is defined not only by victories, streaks, and championship reigns, but also by the human qualities he brought to his craft: commitment, authenticity, and the ability to inspire audiences through performance and persona. While his upcoming retirement in 2025 marks the end of an era, it also celebrates the triumph of a career navigated with strategic insight, physical dedication, and personal integrity. Goldberg's story underscores the complexities of professional athletics, the interplay of health, financial stability, public expectation, and personal fulfillment, while offering a blueprint for how a career can be both spectacular and meaningful. As fans prepare to witness his final bow, the wrestling world stands ready to honor a figure whose contributions, both in the ring and beyond, have redefined what it means to be a legend in sports entertainment.